So a number of people have asked me, how on earth do you make these videos that you've been putting out? Now, I am not a professional filmmaker by any stretch. I did work in TV for a few years, so I definitely picked up some tips there. But what I'm doing right now is something that you can do very easily, and I personally believe that if you are in the business community, this is something you should be doing. So here we go, my top tips on how to create a business vlog. So right at the top of my list is this, the Panasonic Lumix GH5. It's a high quality camera, about $2,000 US. Many cool features, including this swivel screen, which allows you to see yourself while you're filming, which is kind of important in a vlog. The quality of what it shoots is really, really high. I like to perch my cameras on something quality as well. This is the Joby GorillaPod. It comes in a bunch of sizes. Not only does it act like a regular tripod, but you can also twist and move those legs to cling to pretty much anything. And the swivel head at the top means you can always get the perfect angled shot. Next up, it's a phone, but it's so much more than that. This happens to be the iPhone X. Great camera, they've invested, but audio needs help. I use this microphone from Shure. It has a lightning adapter designed for the iPhone. Twist it to where you're speaking and boom, the audio sounds wonderful. It is a tasty device, but what's the quality of the video? I mean, it looks pretty good. It's a phone, and yet look at the quality you get. All right, it's not as good as the GH5, but it's more than usable. I've got the quality microphone plugged in, which you need. You need that directional audio. One thing you've got to avoid, though, when you're filming on your phone is the temptation to look at yourself and check the shot the whole time. Keep your eyes on the lens to create that perfect little vlog moment. Is that a phone in your pocket? Of course it is. In fact, if you have a smartphone manufactured after, I don't know, 2015, you have a high quality camera. Use it. Or as my good friend and video and television guru Hank Norman says, hashtag press record. Next up on the list, the GoPro 6, very similar to the GoPro 5. And this I'm filming on the GoPro 6 with no additional audio. I'm just enunciating, so hopefully my voice is getting to the microphone. So what's wrong with this shot? Because this is another quality camera. Well, it's super wide. And sometimes you need wide. That's why these are sports cameras. You want to capture all that action. But when you're recording something specifically for your audience and you want to try and make a big important point, you don't want all of the distraction of this super wide shot, and you also don't want to come too close because that's not pretty. But I would say that a GoPro is perfectly usable, especially in those moments where perhaps you can't bring along the big camera. And this is the professional grade selfie stick. So walking around with this stick and the camera on it does appear a little bit weird, and people are going to look at you and think, what is he doing? And they're going to stare. But honestly, I don't mind, because the world has changed. People are all doing selfies, videos, creating content all over the place. It's just going to be a reality of the world from now on. So don't worry about it. But what's important, of course, is that you have a good shot. Alright, content. A lot of people say, well, I've got nothing to say. We've all got something to say. What you need to do, though, is prior to shooting anything, decide what your content's going to be. I'm a huge fan of things happening in threes. I think 3 big points or 3 specific sections is more than enough for your video. They always say that the power of 3 is short enough to comprehend, but long enough to suggest the trend, right? Rhyming's good as well. So find the 3 points you're going to make and try in a vlog to devote maybe a minute and a half to each of those 3 points. That way it's easily digestible. It is the format of YouTube and the vloggers out there. If you want to make a 30-minute video, you can, but who's really going to watch 30 minutes online? Very few. Too many distractions. So think of the 3 points, and on each one, dip into them with a level of detail that will interest your viewers to maybe want to find out a bit more. Don't give them everything, but just enough to spark that interest. The other thing I'll say about content is In a vlog of some sort, you need to present it almost like a story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is when you say, hey guys, this is what we're going to cover. The middle is where all the meat is, those 3 big points. And the end, well, it's the summary. It's what have we just watched? What have we all just learned? Let's talk briefly about scenes and locations. Now, I understand that when you make a vlog of some sort, your own business video, you might not always be in gorgeous surroundings like this, but that's fine. You could be in the office, around meeting rooms, but here's something to remember. If you're making 3 distinct points, then find 3 distinct locations, a different scene for every point you make. Why? Because it gives the audience a visual signal that you've moved on. One scene for one point, the next scene, it must be the next point. Wherever you are, try your best to find interesting shots, because as compelling as your content is, and it is, people are always interested in the visual as well. Alright, a quick comment on light now, because obviously when you're filming anything, you need your face to be lit if you're actually talking. If you're shooting scenery and everything else, then of course you need the scenery to be nicely lit. So what you want to do when you're walking around is not worry about bringing lights with you. That is never going to happen. The world of the vlogger is not one where you need your own lights. Instead, take advantage of what we call natural light, or wherever you find that light exists. Now, what you never want to do is backlight your shot. I'll give you an example. I'm going to grab this now. Now, right now, I'm backlit because the sky is really bright. My background is bright, and I haven't got much light coming at me because I'm next to this faux castle. I'm in Disney area. Now, if I turn it around, now I've got the light coming from the sky, I've got reflected light, which apparently is the most flattering of all light. Reflected light bouncing off objects, trees, the swimming pool, and behind me is dark. And you get a much better shot because now you've got all this natural light bouncing back into your face and people can see you. Backlit again. Right, one more thing on lighting. Windows can be your enemy, but also they can be your friend. Just come up to a window and look out of it. Now, I haven't even tested this yet. I think that's a bit what they call hot, a bit too bright. So I'm gonna stand back a tiny bit. I'm gonna let the light fall slightly. I'm further away from the window now, but I feel like I've actually got some decent light on me just by using what's coming through the window. So you don't have to be outside to take advantage of natural light. Another no-no is shooting in direct sunlight. Number 1, you're gonna be squinting, and number 2, it's too harsh. You can see shadows. Don't do direct sunlight. A number of people have also asked me, why are you always walking? Well, number 1, I actually feel like I can think more clearly when I'm in forward motion. But number 2, there is a reason behind the madness. Because every video should feel like a journey. You're going from point A to point B to point C. The visual movement that I create when I'm walking, I think adds to that effect that we're on a journey together. But also think about television. When you watch TV nowadays, the shot changes roughly every 3 seconds. There's always something different to look at. And I think that's what we as humans demand in our visual content. It's what we like to take in. If I was sat right in front of just a wall and I did not move and there was no changing scenery behind me, even if my content was great, which it is, you'd be bored. Now, even if you're not moving around a lot, you should shoot B-roll. B-roll are the extra shots that you can see, but perhaps your audience can't see. You shoot those scenes to create something colorful to add over maybe rather dry or dull talking bits, or as an alternative, you use B-roll with a bit of music as a nice transition from one piece of the story to another. B-roll adds color and movement to your vlog. Whoops, this isn't straight. I have to say, I like this type of setup as well. I'm sat at a table and I'm talking to you like you're right opposite me. This sort of intimate conversation is something that really brings vlogs to life. People feel like they're directly connecting with you because of the way you're sat or you're chatting. So occasionally, as one of your scenes, as one of the sets that you use, find something like a table to sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation. Great audio can be ruined by things like this happening really close to you. Move somewhere that's quiet. Also keep away from echoey spots. No good audio comes out of echo. Let's talk timing. You want your video content to last a long time. You don't need to be shooting and reshooting your valuable ideas. So as a result, what you want to ensure is that you never tie yourself to something of a moment. You never want to perhaps be commenting on major key world events, things like presidential elections or accidents that have happened. Don't tie yourself to weather or season saying, oh my goodness, it's so hot because it's the summer. No, because then you will be restricted to when you can actually use your video in the future. Make it as neutral as possible, and that way your content stays evergreen. One key area of the whole vlog story is how do you edit? Well, I think that's for another completely different vlog, probably a series of vlogs, and probably ones that I will never actually make, because editing is complex. There is a bit of a learning curve, but it can be simple too. It's up to you what you use and how you do your editing. And on YouTube, there are a billion, I'm probably exaggerating, tutorials and guides and super smart people who will teach you how to edit in your chosen software. I use Final Cut Pro X, which a lot of experts say is rubbish. I like it. I taught myself how to edit by watching all those smarty pants on YouTube, who of course know so much more than I do. And I still don't know everything about this software, but I know enough to make a passable film. And that's really all we have to do in the business world. We are not trying to recreate Avatar or Titanic. We're putting together cool vlogs that get a message out there, sharing content and raising awareness. So for me, when it comes to editing, Final Cut Pro X is fine. So there you go, not a full comprehensive list, but a bunch of tips on how to make your next business vlog. I hope you liked it. If you did, could you click like and maybe even subscribe? That way, when I do the next one, and there will be another one, you'll know about it first. Right, I'm off for a rum runner.